Hello and welcome. Okay, so Malthael is a melee assassin who primarily, well, I don't want to say primarily, but a major source of his damage is coming from his passive. So let's go ahead and talk about his abilities. First off, passive, Reaper's Mark. 4 seconds, all targets that are non-structure, so bosses, mercenaries, minions, etc., will get this blue mark on them that will deal, as you can see, 2.5% of their max health per second, every second. So, as you can see, just ticks away slowly. Our next ability is Soul Rip. Soul Rip can only be used while a target has the mark on them. Soul Rip does not take away from the mark. And with a 2-second cooldown and 4 seconds of mark, if you're lucky, you should be able to get off 3 of them. It also heals you. As you can see, it heals you for 46 points at level 1 for every target, and then an additional 3% of a hero's maximum health. Obviously only works on heroes. Next we have the Wraith Strike. This teleports you behind the target of your mark. It also refreshes the timer on the mark, making it a nice little assassination ability. Finally, we have Death Shroud. Death Shroud is a rather long, although slow-moving missile, which has the ability to apply your Reaper's Mark. It does no damage. It does no damage on its own, although that is 2% of maximum health, which does add up, especially against some of the bigger opponents. So, let's go ahead and start talking numbers. Here you can see his level 1 stats.
Choose a talent. Choose a talent.
Level 10.
Choose a talent.
Level 20.
Choose a talent.
And finally,
Choose a talent.
level 30.
Choose a talent.
Ending with 6,371 HP with a 13.15 regeneration, 790 mana with a 5.83 regeneration, a basic attack range of 1.5, which is standard for melee, 380 damage, and it attacks, or 0.91 attacks per second. So, do note that while his attack damage is kind of low, or about average but slow speed, due to his Reaper's Mark, if we take a second to let it calculate up damage, at level 30 we are still getting a rather consistent DPS. And with the ability to apply to multiple targets, it works pretty well. Okay, so let's go ahead and start talking talents. At level 1, you have Death's Reach. Simple talent increases range. On a pale horse, personally I think this is my favorite talent for level 1 for like basically any character. Gain 20% additional movement speed while mounted. Basically, it just makes your mounted speed better. Now, obviously, there are some abilities that are much more applicable for certain characters, but yeah, this is just awesome for no real reason other than it's awesome. And then Fear the Reaper. Activate to increase your movement speed to almost mounted speed, and then walk through other units for 4 seconds. A permanent passive.
Choose a talent.
Makes you better than literally everyone else. Yeah, there's no reason not to take that. At level 4, we have Die Alone. Soul Rip deals 75% more damage if it only hits a single target. This could be useful if you're going in on like some type of assassin. You probably should have just played fucking Zeratul, Illidan, or Nova build. Throwing Shade. If your shade, or when your shade hits 20 people, permanently increase its range and reduce its cooldown. Or the ability you should always take no matter what. I don't even know why there are other options here. Black Harvest. Apply the mark for 150 seconds, and it permanently increases the duration by 2 seconds. Yeah.
Choose a talent.
That's a... let's go ahead and just complete that quest real quick. That's a permanent increase of 2 seconds. It starts at 4, changes it to 6. That's a 50% increase in damage just for letting it sit there. At level 7, we have Cold Hands. Soul Rip slows enemies. Pretty good. Mortality. When damaging a hero with Wraith Strike, dealing a bonus of 4% of their maximum health. I want to like this ability. I do normally enjoy percentage of health attacks. And I love we have a second hero with a percentage of health passive. Well, the other one's an active, but Tychus. And then we have Touch of Death. Activate to reduce healing healing received by heroes afflicted by your mark for 4 seconds. Cold Hands is probably the best choice here. It's a simple slow. You drop it, you forget it, and that's a pretty quick couple of second cooldown. Oh, 2.5 seconds for a 2-second cooldown. You can keep them as long as you can keep that mana, and that's 20 fucking mana. They're not getting away from you. Mortality. I want to like it. But it's only 4%. Hell, you're getting more out of the refreshed mark. Hell, you're getting more out of the refreshed mark by default. And then Touch of Death. I mean, again, if you're going for like the increased strike range and whatnot, like you basically should have been fucking Illidan or Zeratul. Yeah, sure, it's not bad, but it's not as good.
Choose a talent.
Next, we have the
Choose a talent.
ability Tormented Soul. So, you gain 20 armor, which reduces auto attack damage by 20%, and you just apply Reaper's Mark to everybody in the area. Basically, you become Kerrigan, and you use Kerrigan's Maelstrom ult. It doesn't last long enough for it to really be worth anything on a like mercenary camp. Let's go ahead and let that in so they'll regrow health. So, if you do activate it, you can use your other abilities. And it's not bad. As you can see, against this mercenary camp. But it's not great. And I do have the cooldowns auto-refreshing. So, I'm healing a little more than I should have. Continuing on at level 13, we have Soul Siphon. Increase the Soul Rip's healing from heroes from 3% to 4%. It's not a lot. Eternal Existence, or Ethereal Existence, sorry. Gain 15 physical armor per enemy hero afflicted by Reaper's Mark. If you're stacking this with Tormented Souls, you can get that 15 pretty quickly. You jump into a fight, you're taking minus 20, minus 45. I don't know if that will give you a flat 60 or if it will do one of those awkward like, oh, well, you're getting 45% of 80, which is a little less than 40. And yeah, that gets complicated pretty fast, actually. Inevitable End. Activate to become unstoppable for 2 seconds. Although it does remove all of your marks. So basically never take this ever for any reason. If you do, stop playing Malthael. And then Shroud of Wisdom. After 2 seconds, gain 50% spell armor. This choice basically comes down to, do you want physical armor or spell armor? Do you need physical armor or do you need spell armor? Literally, that's all that this choice comes down to.
Choose a talent.
At level 16, Q, Soul Collector, reduce the Soul Rip's cooldown by half a second, increases its range by 50 seconds. Seems great. Like, that's a pretty useful half a second. That drops it down to 1.5 seconds. That's great. And then increases its range by 50%. That's awesome. Massacre. Wraith Strike now damages and applies Reaper's Mark to enemies around the target. So it basically becomes a small little AoE. That's not horrible. That's pretty good, actually, especially if you're building a Wraith Strike build. But then you get into Memento Mori. Reaper's Mark deals 100% increased damage after afflicting a target for more than 4 seconds. Remember, at level all the way back here with the second one, we took an additional 2 seconds. So our 4 seconds is now 6 seconds. So by default, that changes our 50% increase to a 100% increase. So as you can see here, you get 4 little ticks, now you get a big tick. And if we were to be attacking during that, we can basically keep that up indefinitely. Well, we can't keep it up indefinitely, and you'll see why. So as you can see, we are starting to drop this down pretty quickly. And finally, at level 20, Reaper of Souls. While Torment's active, heroes taken down and extend its duration by 4 seconds. That sounds great. The problem is that it only lasts for like 4 seconds. So you basically have to kill somebody within 4 seconds to double its length. And yeah, if you can drop that in the middle of a team fight, that's nice, but remember, this doesn't actually do any damage on its own. It just applies marks. Neither of these do damage on their own, which makes the next one also kind of weird to want to take. Final Curtains. Death Shroud leaves a trail in its wake for 4 seconds. It's a nice little ability. You can drop that down and it kind of blocks off an area, but it doesn't do any primary damage. Then we have No One Can Stop Death. A pretty quick, simple, activate to respawn immediately. It increases your next respawn timer. However, you can actually activate this during death, and its cooldown will continue to go down. So, if you can stay up, let's say it adds an additional 25 seconds, or 25%, sorry, I misread that part. It adds an additional 25%. So if you can stay up for about 160 seconds, you're good. Because if you're up for 160 seconds, you have 20 seconds of death, and then you can instantly respawn, because if this comes out or comes off cooldown before your respawn timer does, you can instantly tap it. That's pretty nice. Like, that is pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and reset the talents. We're basically going to go with the same build because there's no reason to ever want to go with another build.
Choose a talent.
Go ahead and close that quest. Next we have Last Rite. Last Rite applies a death sentence on an enemy hero that after 2 seconds will deal damage equal to 50% of their missing health. This also activates a quest. Killing targets will reduce the cooldown. Now note, this does no damage on its own. Like, so you can just kind of go around and, well, you can't mark non-heroes, but it does no damage. However, just punch the guy once. And now it does damage. Well, now it won't because he just restored, but you kind of get the... So, again, last right. Killing enemies will reduce its cooldown by 5 seconds, down to a minimum of 15 seconds. So that's not that it will change the... Like, it will only lower it to a 60-second cooldown, but it will lower it all the way down to a 50-second cooldown if you can kill 30 people. Really, you're probably not going to get that in the average match, but this is a fuck ton better than Tormented Soul. I'm just going to go ahead and complete the quest just because I can. So yeah, as you can see, 12 times 5 is the 60. At level 13, well, actually we've already done this, so I'm going to go with
Choose
that.
a talent.
And then
Choose
that.
a talent.
At level 20, we have Angel of Death. Last right heals for 100% of the damage dealt, and its current and future cooldown reduction bonuses are doubled. This doesn't lower the fact that it can't go beyond the minimum, so I'm not going to take it. Just, it now heals you, which is amazing. I will, however, take this to show you Final Curtain. So, Final Curtain creates a little wind farm. It's cute, it's nice. However, as interesting as it is, since it only applies your passive and doesn't actually, you know, do any fucking thing of its on its own, it is rather limited. However, let's actually get rid of the and toggle minions. One nice thing about this is because it applies multiple times, you can see they all start taking multiple ticks other than just that one final tick. However, still not even enough to kill a minion. But let's go ahead and show off his R in the way you all want to see it. So, as you can see, we're starting to do a nice little bit of damage. We'll just start applying a couple of marks. The lower the health gets, the more damage it does. You can reliably kill a character with this once they've reached about 3/4 of their own health. So, what that means is that all you have to do... Actually, let's go ahead and get an enemy hero up here. Let's go with, who's a good one? We'll go with Arthas again. He has a lot of health.
Choose a talent.
And toggle minions.
Choose a talent.
I didn't
Choose a
actually mean
talent.
to reset talents. Whoops.
Choose a talent.
Actually, hell,
Choose
this
a
will make it a
talent.
little easier.
Choose a talent.
We'll actually
Choose a
take this
talent.
4%,
Choose a
take
talent.
last,
Choose a talent. Choose a talent. Choose a
and
talent.
we'll take Angel of Death. Complete those quests. That's Artanis, not Arthas, but it basically works the same. So, as you can see, the moment he passed about 3/4 of his health, we knew that we could reliably just drop it. So, to do that again, we're going to want to mark him up, jump in when we can, keep him slow. This is actually a pretty bad because I have the cooldowns. Let's give him a chance to heal. I feel really bad about that. Okay, so this time, we'll mark everybody, jump in. We do have our ability to quick jump and do 4% damage. And remember, he's taking a constant beating. And we can see him the whole time he's taking a beating. So he went back to heal, but not enough. So we can just get visual. We drop the mark on him. Oh, he somehow survived. That's actually interesting. But then all we had to do was mark him, and he dropped. Anyway, I hope this was informative, and I hope it will help you, or is going to help you in the future when... excuse you, I'm kind of doing my outro. I hope this was informative and enjoyable. I hope this will help you when you're building Malthael in the future. And if you have any questions or build ideas, go ahead and drop them in the comment section below. And have fun.